When I first stepped into that 3-story brick building that spanned half a city block, I was charged up, passionate about the idea that this school, the school the city had labeled a failing school, was actually full of strength and opportunity. I stepped into the school as a new assistant principal with conviction about the role a teacher can play to change a student's life. With just me and my team, I genuinely believed that our hard work together would be enough to overcome all of the barriers our students faced in our Southside Chicago high school. In my inexperience and naive belief in the school system, I thought that turnaround would happen from within the walls of the school building. Lucky for me, I was surrounded by community leaders who challenged me and pushed me to realize that true school change can only happen when we stop thinking all of the answers for change will come within the walls of the school building. Leaders pushed me to see that. Leaders like Julio. Julio was our school security guard, a fixture of positivity every morning at the front door. Students and parents alike would stop to share a story or laugh with him as they walked into the school building. Meanwhile, I walked by him and hardly said hello. I walked right past him yet again when I went to the front door to promote a school event, a parent night where they could come out to learn about how the college admission and financial aid process may be different based on their immigration statuses. I made flyers to promote the event and passed them out to countless parents. But those flyers only served to promote my ignorance. The team had planned the event for a Wednesday night in our huge auditorium, and when just 7 parents came to fill over 500 seats, I was undeterred. I thought, let's just change the night of the week for the event. And so I made new flyers and went right back out to that front door, figuring that a different night of the week is all it would take to bring out more parents. It was on the second attempt I looked over and saw Julio again, chatting fluently in Spanish and English with many parents. We locked eyes and he smiled and waved as he always did, but that was all. After my second failed attempt to make this parent night happen, I went back to that front door and asked Julio for his help. Julio, can you help me get more parents to this event? It's essential that they get this information. His question back to me changed the way I see schools and communities to this day. He challenged me and asked, why do you keep trying to get them to come to you? Why don't you go to them? That deceptively simple question held transformative power for me as a school leader. It had the power to change my paradigm. I was always trained as a school leader that if we just worked hard enough in the building, we could figure it out. Julio pushed me to see differently. He went on to tell me that the Latinx community in our school deeply valued their faith, and that they spent a great deal of time at the Catholic Church in our neighborhood, attending services, events, and classes there. He encouraged me to reach out to the priest and ask how I could get more involved. And I did just that. The priest invited me to attend an event in their church for undocumented families. Humbled by this invitation, I quietly went to the back of the room that night and watched as families flooded into that space, bringing with them their children and their fears, their hopes and their anxieties. The priest invited a lawyer to come up to the front of the room first to explain to families their rights as undocumented citizens. As I sat and listened to what the lawyer had to say, I was reminded of just how many barriers our parents overcame simply to get their students to our school on time. As the lawyer was finishing answering her questions, I saw a priest motioning for me to come forward and introduce myself. Stepping to the front of the room and out of my comfort zone, I clumsily introduced myself as their assistant principal and offered to answer any questions they might have about how their citizenship status may affect their students' college admissions or financial aid process. Just a few shy hands went up in the room at first, but soon I was deep in conversation with families, working together with them to make sure that all of their students had the opportunity to get to and through college. While that evening was laced with real fear and anxiety, that night was also full of real connection and community strength. After that, it was different for me at the front door of the school. Parents now walked up to Julio and to me, sharing everything from their favorite recipes to the hopes for their children. And then flyers weren't necessary. A few parents told me they had the cell phone numbers for pretty much every other parent. And then they told me where they got together to connect and celebrate their students. From the local YMCA to the mosque to the park across the street, the community started opening up in front of me the more I walked around and saw its strength. I found out that a restaurant 1 block up from our school was owned by a student's father. I learned that across the street in that park, many of our students played basketball every day with their uncles and cousins there. And if I walked far enough, I could always find a group of abuelas sitting on their porch, offering me a kind word or a cold drink whenever I walked by. The more I saw the community as a part of the school, the more I realized just how much was possible with our students. I started going to community events with a new intention: to break down the barriers between our school and our community, to ask community members what was their dream for their students, and to collaborate with the community as we all worked together to help our students achieve their dreams. With that, and on that journey, I met people like a journalist for the Southwest Herald at a summer park event who was eager to publish our students. I connected him to our freshman writing teacher who was struggling to invest our students in the writing process. They worked together to create a student op-ed section of that Herald newspaper. And I will never forget the look on our students' faces when they saw their names in print. I worked with the Iman, or the Inner City Muslim Action Network, who had an incredible legacy of community organizing in our neighborhood, and worked with them to create teacher sessions at their center so that our teachers could learn all of the resources available to them in the neighborhood. These sessions brought out teacher conversation where they shared with Iman staff how difficult it was to cater to all of the different interests of our students. And that conversation brought collaboration. The Iman staff graciously agreed to come into our school and teach our students all types of things, from the arts to public speaking to community organizing. And once the community realized just how open our school doors were, they kept coming in, including a group of our local entrepreneurs who collaborated with another one of our teachers on a Shark Tank unit, which culminated in our students pitching business ideas to a panel of our city's entrepreneurs. Our students could win seed money or earn internships through that pitch competition, and we watched their investment in their education skyrocket as they realized all of us, the school staff and the community leaders, all wanted to see them succeed. Within 1 year, our school went from a failing school to having a full turnaround. The results were so impressive. One day I got a call from an official from the school district of Chicago. That official asked me over the phone, how did I accomplish this turnaround in such a short period of time? My answer, I did not accomplish this. We did. Now, this may seem like one heartwarming story from the South Side of Chicago, and it is. But there's research that shows that that story can be replicated. Sarah McAllister, a senior researcher at the Annenberg Institute of School Reform, has done research on that very dynamic. And she has found that when schools and communities come together, students have transformative outcomes. From their academic achievement, to the rigor of their courses, to their social-emotional development. More impact happens when the schools and communities partner together. But not only that, she also found through her research that the impact is the same across many types of schools, regardless of a student's age, background, or story. And so my hope is by now you're wondering, how can I accomplish this in my own school community? And here would be my advice to you. First, take a look around your school and ask yourself, what turnaround do you want to see in your school? And then walk out the doors of your school and down the sidewalk. Get to know people in your community and ask them if they want to see the same turnaround. Ask them to collaborate. And as you walk down the street together, ask them, how can we break down this barrier together?